Yeah, I didn't know whether to title this I feel like I got it all figured out or I got it figured out. In my own mind, I got it figured out. But for the sake of it being billions of people on this planet, allegedly, right? I'll say I feel like I got it all figured out. Just for the sake of the opinionated ones. So why do I feel like I got it all figured out? Well, you get to a point. Remember, let's start from this. Let's see if we can keep this at 5 or 6 minutes. Oh, we were talking about the Batman movie, and you had a Batman and then you had a Joker, right? And growing up, we were taught that these villains were the bad ones. You know, Bane. Batman was the good guy. Joker was the villain. He must be stopped. But why didn't Batman stop him? He had a chance in the Dark Knight Rises. He couldn't do it. They needed each other, right? The dark and light forces needed each other. It's like they both were right. They both had to exist together. It was almost like a negative and positive end of the battery. You need a negative and positive end for anything to even work. For there to be energy extracted. So come to find out, when you get older, I mean, as if you wise, you know, me, you grow into wisdom and you like, wait a minute, Joker's not the bad guy. Joker knows exactly what he's talking about. Matter of fact, you thought Batman was the good guy. As you grow in wisdom, it almost seems like Batman is the bad guy. What is Batman? What is he actually trying to uphold? A corrupt system? But what do you think, Joker's the good guy or Batman's the good guy? The movie it has a dualistic nature. It almost has two or three stories written into one. It reminds you of those books where you can turn to a certain page and you be in a whole different narrative of that book. You guys remember back in the day, they used to have books that turn to this page, and then you be in a whole nother scenario with that book, or movies that have alternate endings. So these movies are multi-dimensional. They're not linear. I told you guys that the person who self-reflects, who actually looks at the forest from the trees, is oftentimes looked at as the villain because everybody else wants to stay asleep. It's all experimental, though. In school, we I'm not going to say any names. We learn about all these so-called dictators. They even calling our current president a dictator. So we learn all these words. This person was a dictator. This person was this. This person was that. This person did this. This person did that. But that's like a test. It's almost like an experiment to see if you come to the truth without seeking validation. Somebody knows what the truth is. Somebody knows deep down inside people have the potential to be evil more so than good. Somebody knows this. So it's like this experiment. Okay, this is the good guy, this is the bad guy. They tell you who's the good and who's the bad, right? They'll tell you socialism or communism, all these isms is bad. But it's all experimental just to see who actually just goes along with what they were told. Who's scared, who got balls, who comes to the truth when they find out the truth, who's not afraid to stand up for the truth of the matter, and who is just decides to go along with the narrative. Which, remember, the narrative, like I said the other day, the status quo, I forget what word we use, is absolutely abusive. But you can't turn to the other side because somebody told you that was wrong. But wait a minute, you're being abused from what you was. So it's like an experiment. Who jumps to the other side and decides to stand alone and stand in truth? Who decides not to seek validation? It's an experiment. You could clearly see it's an experiment. Who decides to stand alone? Who decides to go against their family? Who decides to go against the status quo and stand alone? Then they show you, oh well, this person got assassinated. This person was killed. They throw all this stuff at you. They do everything to make you not stand on your square. They do everything for you not to do that. Even throw fear tactics at you. Oh, this is what happened the last time somebody spoke like that, right? But it's all a test to see who actually like rises up out of the ground. Who actually comes out of the cocoon, right? And becomes a butterfly. And who decides to stay inside that cocoon where it's nice and safe. Don't go outside. I mean, I forget the movie Bobby Hemmett talked about. It was a movie about uh man, what was the name of that movie? It was this town, and they had taught everybody that not to go outside of the gate because they said that it was monsters. So everybody just stayed complacent. Don't go outside that gate. There's monsters out there. But nobody ever really went outside that gate to find out were there really monsters out there outside that gate that was going to eat them alive. But it's a test. Who actually dares to go outside that gate? Because let me tell you something, just to end it, whoever does is something to be said about that individual as far as leadership is concerned, because you got to run a test to find out who is who and what is what. You can't just be taking people's word for it. Somebody say, I ain't scared. Somebody say, oh, I can do this or I can do that. Somebody say, oh, I can be a leader. How do you know unless you put them to the test? And like I said the other day, yeah, women gonna be more attractive to men who willing to go outside that gate. So it's not shocking to me that I can attract a lot of women, not just physically, but you know, they see that I decide to come outside that cocoon. So women have children, and they wanna have leaders. They don't want. I don't think children. Excuse me. I don't think women just will voluntarily say, "Oh, I want to bear followers." I don't. No, women want to. They want to have. They want to bear. They want to get seeds from leaders. They don't want seeds from followers. Unfortunately, 90 something percent out of people out here, men out here, are followers. Even Bobby Hemmett say women are looking for men with knowledge. He said, yeah, we understand the money thing and all that. Yeah, women want money in that. But Bobby said ultimately women are looking for men that know something, that have knowledge, gnosis. Because the money's only gonna get you so far. I mean, like I said, we all these millionaires and billionaires out here, yet we still got all these problems. So money can't just just be about money. It's got to be something a little bit deeper than that. Money just helps your facade, pretty much. It doesn't really. I mean, you can have a lot of money and still be a coward. You know, money just helps the facade. That's all. That's all money does. Because you can have a lot of money and you can still inwardly be screwed up. It's about what's on the inside of an individual, not the outside. Money can only help the outside. It can't help the inside. It absolutely cannot help the inside. But yeah, just to close it out, I feel like I got it all figured out because I realized I went outside that gate and I said, ain't nothing. It's just like the Wizard of Oz too. Ain't nothing behind this curtain. Ain't nothing outside this gate. So you feel like, you know, you've won something. You won a prize. Whoever dared to go outside that gate should win a prize. You've been told all this stuff about what's outside that gate. And then again, what you've been taught in school about certain leaders, they were dictators. Come to find out, no, that those dictators, they knew exactly what they were talking about. They knew how people deep down inside behave, and they had to do what was necessary to move their society along. But they had to be demonized to keep the test going. Can't give it to people that easy. No, they got to be tested to know that actually that dictator was right. They got to be tested to know that Joker was actually telling the truth.